I do feel like that's also one of the key challenges when we first started introducing some like emojis within surfaces. A lot of brands are saying like, that's not me. But I say this for the past 2 years, I always believe if you dig into your brand's guidebook, there's always a page on personality. And that page of personality, one of the personalities or value, right? Brand value, there's always this element of playfulness and optimism. And I think emojis is your opportunity to play up that side of your brand. Again, visually, I think there's an opportunity for brands to also update like their brand guidance beyond the photography style that we normally see, the brand logo treatment, the typography, templates. Brands should start thinking about what are the complementary brand-centric emojis. They could think about designing some of those elements. What are how should the brand show up on social media? Tonality as well. And I think that's the opportunity for brand to update like the brand value and brand guideline so that they can be part of this conversation. Again, like we've seen a lot of brands redesign some of those elements to make it more on brand, whether it's the introduction of some of the mascots within the emojis. We've seen Wendy's actually created a suite of emojis using the girl icon in different expression. I think that's the fun part of leveraging native elements. Doesn't mean just using what's out there, but then embracing the opportunity to create your own so that you are enabling your consumers to use those to communicate as well. Looking at the examples here, right? So case in point, Mercedes, like of all brands, you would think that Mercedes would be like, no emojis, no funny icons, we're going to be on brand. So what they did beautifully here was that, okay, if Mercedes was to do an emoji slider, how would they have designed it? They kept it minimal, they kept it classy, it's sophisticated. They redesigned what it means, what an emoji slider would look. And they use it to actually communicate the benefits in languages that's like intuitive to whoever's looking at it from a stories perspective. Fiverr use it to stretch and show the breadth and length of their offerings. And then for beauties, familiar stickers and GIFs and emojis were used to complement the key message. So it becomes really much more about visual storytelling. Without listening, looking at some of the visual cues, I can understand what the brand is trying to deliver and tell me. I think that's the beauty of leveraging a lot of the visual vernaculars to ease storytelling. I think that's the beauty of some of those playful executions. You need to surprise people on some of those surfaces to say, hey, if you want to make it thumb-stopping, you're going to have to surprise them. And all the examples here are quite nicely placed that it moves through quickly, but at the same time, messaging is very clear. So another way, as you saw in the earlier slide, of making it stories, because it's interactivity could be native control. Interactivity could be through carousel, is probably one of the first few interactive formats, and also polling ads as well. And I think interactivity is stories' superpower. We don't see any other formats having the ability to give control, the ability to involve your consumer in a piece of communication. So here's a good example from Alan. Alan is a financial company, FinServ company, insurance company based out of France. Again, playing with native control of tap and hold, they have changed the way they normally run story ads. We're going to watch the stories optimized version first. Here is the optimized asset. I don't speak French, but I believe those are the key benefits. And again, so they thought about this. Okay, we've got these benefits. How can we make it more fun and playful? How can we gamify this otherwise passive video ad? This is what they did with stories first. So they gamify the experience by taking a key message, their mascot, and then creating almost like a randomized puzzle experience where you can actually tap and hold to complete the picture. And by completing the picture, obviously you get the cute mascot, but also you get the message, complete the puzzle, basically get in the picture to be in its right place. So I think that's a fun way of not just, with the first example, we saw like randomizing option, but with this using tap and hold to actually complete a puzzle. So almost like a fun game that you can play with stories at. More examples. Well, before I get to the examples, I think some key watch-outs that you're thinking about, like leveraging tap and hold, making sure that you make it intuitive by having a clear instruction up front that this is going to be an interactive unit. You're going to tap and hold to achieve something, tap and hold to watch, tap and hold to learn, tap and hold to find out. I think those instructions are really key up front in the first 2 seconds. And then the randomizing almost needs to be exciting enough so that I don't see, but then I need to interact in order to understand what's happening. So often we've seen tap and hold, the animation pace was too slow. It really defeats the purpose of tap and hold because it's too easy of a game. You got to give them a bit of a challenge to tap and hold by having fast moving images so that they see a challenge and they want to interact with the somewhat interactive ad unit. So I think those are the two things that you need to watch out for. Here's a good example. Again, I think this pace is beautiful. It's quick. Something is changing. What needs to be done, but you don't quite see everything that's in picture. You want to tap and hold and see more. And here's also a good example of how brand has actually designed their own sort of like stickers, right? Taking the brand color, taking the brand font to design brand specific Jiffy-like graphic elements that complements the story.